2021 here with your live show. We're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But, of course, today is College Football Saturday. It's my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year, College Football Saturday. Tell you what, not a game in the bunch of the college football games that if it was a regular College Football Saturday would even make my 6 TV configuration. Not one of them would even hit the board. It wouldn't even be like an iPad game, nothing of these. Maybe, I mean, it's possible that, like, if I really liked one of them, which I don't like any of these today, but if I had one that I really liked, I would put it on, maybe, on an iPad or something. But it's like, these are not like big screen games, These are not like these aren't even like upper right games, on my TV configuration. These are like the ones that, it's there, it's on something, but it's like, I don't care, It's like, it's college football, I like it, but it's like, yeah, if you're gonna have games like this, it's almost.
They should have had one good game on there.
Well, the thing is, it's week 0, so it's like that's the whole idea. It used to be, college football was always traditionally 11-game schedule. Then in the early 80s, I believe it was, they added the kickoff classic game, and that was played in the Meadowlands. It was just 2 teams would play 12 games, and then everybody else was like, well, why can't we add another game? So they started adding more of these games like this, more of these special games. Now everybody plays 12 games. And now instead of that, now it's like, well, we have this week that we have to go to Hawaii and all this other stuff. Gee, what a bummer, you have to go to Hawaii. And so for that, you're rewarded with another game that you get to play. So another ticket you get to sell. So, it's that is what week 0 is. I remember those kickoff classic games, and the first one was Penn State versus Nebraska, and it was a shellacking. I mean, I think it was 85-0. Nebraska beat them. It was like the great Tom Osborne teams. I mean, up against, Paterno. It's like, the Penn State Paterno teams were good like once every 4 years, right? It was always a building process. The guys stayed there. And, so it's up against like an all-world, Nebraska team. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it might have been the 83 team that Miami beat in for the national championship. It might have been that team that averaged, 70 points a game. The margin of victory averaged 59 points a game that season. So it was like one of those. And then I know I went to one because Miami played Ohio State one year in it, and. It was Ken Dorsey's freshman year, Santana Moss freshman year, Reggie Wayne. It was that team. It was all their freshman years. And Ohio State was barking, and oh my God, they had the whole stadium full of people. And all of a sudden they saw Santana Moss, and it just was deathly silent. It was like, we don't have a guy on our team that can catch this guy. Not one guy. And it's like right before the half, they thought Miami was going to take a knee, before at the end of the half. Dorsey just threw one deep into the end zone. Moss ran it in for the touchdown. It was like, I don't think you heard, well, we play a Big Ten schedule anymore after that. But anyways, I forgot to hit the button here, but we are live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm excited. It's College Football Saturday. So a lot of different things going on. Ron Romanelli is now doing videos over at Sports Chat Place. He's just getting into the groove. We're going to start adding a lot more videos to Sports Chat Place. We have more people coming on. We're going to be adding more content. Maybe we'll have other cappers with Ron do these things. We'll have our new people do it with them. And we have other shows that we're going to have exclusively on Sports Chat. Also, our podcast was added. Amazon asked me to put it on there. So our podcast is now not just on iTunes and Google, whatever, and all these other zillion podcast networks. We're also now on Amazon. So you can find us on Amazon as well. That's what happens when you hit the record button. Good things start to happen. But anyways, a lot of NFL today. One canceled game, non-COVID related. You just don't see this anymore. And then we got 15 Major League Baseball games. Brian, I changed my premium pick last night. I had originally when I wrote my picks down, I said this on the show, and I said it, and everything, that I changed my premium pick from the Nationals to the Pirates, and it cost me a winning day. It was gruesome. I loved the Nationals yesterday. And,
we all like the Nationals.
What's that?
I said I think we said we liked the Nationals.
Yeah, you're too far from your mic. You gotta move up.
Yeah, I said I think we all liked the Nationals yesterday.
Coming in mono something. I gotta figure this out. Anyways, we'll get to it. It's week 0, so we have a new. This is our last week, I believe, of this format for the weekends. We have a new format coming up, and it's myself. I have a co-host, and then we'll bring people in. It's not going to be like the drive-through where it's like 2 seconds, and then Ruffalo gives them a foot massage. It's going to be, everyone's going to have a substantial amount of time, for them to, talk and talk betting strategy for the day and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be similar in that we'll have multiple guests. But it's going to be different in that the guests will have more time, and you guys will see. I think you guys will like it. It's a work in progress, like everything else we do, So not overly concerned about it. But let's get right into it then with college football action. We've got really 4 main games here. I see other sites and stuff kind of acting like this Southern Utah game is actually a meaningful game of some kind, but it's not. It's a 5-digit rotation number game, right? So it's really not something that we generally concentrate on. So we're just going to stick to the main varsity sports like we try to here. And we'll kick off with college football. Generally, if it's college football and NFL, we would kick off with NFL, but because it's NFL preseason, we'll go to college. And so we go to Champaign, Illinois. Illinois Fighting Illini, new coach against the most underachieving program of the last 5 years, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We've got the Fresno State Bulldogs, who were a favorite like this last year and got waxed in their opener. We have New Mexico State, who returns nobody, but plays against nobody here. So this is kind of the more interesting. And then you have Hawaii, who normally has like a pure passing QB, but this quarterback, he's a pure passing QB if you like 50% completion percentage. So kind of, these are, like I said, these are not like the big games. Next week, we start to have that. We still have, you have to remember that the first few weeks, there's still cream puff games in there. There's definitely cream puff games in the mix where, you have big school against FCS schools, and we're not going to cover those on the show, and we're not going to cover those in the regular videos. We'll cover them on the websites, but we're not going to cover them on these shows. I'm against it. I think it's bad for college football. I do. I think if you're Alabama and you schedule Louisiana Monroe, that's okay. But if you schedule Jackson State, that's not okay. And that's what these guys do. I think you get one of those every 3 years in my book. Like if you're Florida school and you have Florida A&M on the schedule once every 3 years, I could live with that. But to have some like Clemson plays these guys, they usually play a couple of them, and Alabama plays them. They all do. It's like it doesn't even make sense. LSU always does. Florida does. I don't know. What happens is eventually you lose to one of these guys, and that's just the end of you. I remember Jacksonville State taking Georgia to the mat a few years ago.
I think the one thing, though, that's a pro would be it helps recruiting on the other side. So especially those, lower budget type of teams, I think it helps recruiting.
I understand that, but when you look at the final record of a team and it says 12-0 or 11-1 and 10-2, and one team didn't play any of those teams and one team played one, is that the same?
Yeah, no, the committee has to look at that, definitely.
But they don't.
But, they shouldn't.
They don't. But I think the committee looks at something else, and it's called how much money can we make.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And that's what they generally look at, and
it's called the eye test.
Yeah, the eye test. It's like the eye test is the biggest joke I've ever seen. Oh, they passed the eye test. It's like what are you talking about? You know, it's like, how do they pass the eye test? You know, it was like, how the hell does these guys pass the eye test? You know, Oklahoma passed the eye test. It's like, yeah, when they played good teams, when they play Kansas State, they lose by 20. You know, and when they play like reasonable good teams, they win some, lose some. And meanwhile, they throw them in the championship, and it's going to be even worse. You know, it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. It'll be interesting to see how that whole SEC alliance works out. But anyways, let's just get to these games already. Brian, you see anything here on the board that's worth even putting a dime of your money on, or nickel, or
well, I think if you're a
$100.
degenerate and you like gambling, which I do, and lots of other people do, I would put a little bit on UConn plus the 27.5. I've been watching this game for at least a month now, I think, and I just think it hasn't really moved off the 27.5. I just think that's a ton of points for Fresno State. We saw what they did last year. UConn's awful, but I think this is around a 24-point game, so I think that 27.5 is a little bit of value. And then my favorite free pick, I think the UCLA Bruins beat up on Hawaii here. Chip Kelly's, UCLA kind of looked better towards the end of last season.
They lost their last 2 or 3 games in a row when they had like a chance to actually do something. They looked terrible at the end of the season. I don't understand. How did they look better at the end of the season when they lost their last games?
UCLA over their last couple of seasons under Chip Kelly have really been brutal, but they seem to pick it up a little bit last year. I think they come into this year wanting to make a statement right out of the gate. And Hawaii has.
Here's a magazine I haven't even looked at this year. I mean, you could smell. It smells like.
And normally every year Hawaii is a team that I like to back, but not this season. I think I'm going to stay away from Hawaii.
This one goes in alphabetical order, right? Start to finish. Now let's go by conference. Let's take a look at this. There's UCLA.
And this is a do or die year for Chip Kelly. You know, either he does something with UCLA this season, or he's
3-4 last year, Brian. They had a chance to make it to a bowl game, remember? And then they lost in overtime to Stanford, 48-47. They lost to USC by 5, and their other loss was at Oregon. So they lost to decent teams. They lost at Colorado. They beat Cal. They beat Arizona and Arizona State. So did I. You know, those teams.
So I take it you're leaning towards Hawaii in this one.
Well, it's not my turn yet, but yes, I am. I just think that with the points, and I think Hawaii returns most of their defense from last year, and you have a slop team like UCLA. See, for me, it's not UCLA's talent.
They return everybody on defense. Everybody. UCLA's stacked on talent-wise. Okay, because California, Florida, and Texas are the 3 most talent-rich states when it comes to college football. They are. Pennsylvania's generally pretty good. Ohio's good. There's other states that are good, but when it comes to across the board and big numbers of talent, it's Florida, Texas, California, right? It's those 3 states. So UCLA gets a lot of those players in California. It's just a matter of putting it all together there. And what we've seen from UCLA is a slop fest. So I think that, first game of the season, for a team that's been sloppy, I can't trust them laying 17.5 points up against a team last year that was a 17.5 point dog and won by 30 in their opening game. It's like I don't see it. I don't even understand it. I think the better play there is a Hawaii plus 630 on the money line is the better play than UCLA here. I don't see it, because you look at Hawaii last year, right? And what were they against in that opener against Fresno State? They were like, what was the line in that thing? It was way up there, right? And they came out there, they just jacked them. I mean, they just crushed them. It was, let me see. They beat them 34-19. So at the end of the game, they're actually just 2-point dogs. So it wasn't like a massive dog. But they were, no, it's 2.5. 2.5, the hook. So they were dogs. They came in, and then the next week they go to Wyoming and get slaughtered by Wyoming. Go figure. I mean, that's
I had Wyoming in that one.
Yeah, Chevin Cordiero is not bad. He's not a bad quarterback. And the thing is, I think under Todd Graham, that I think the program has, they're traditionally kind of that wide open offense to June Jones style. And I think under Rolovich pulled back, and you know that Nick Rolovich, right, the worst cover coach in all of college football. He wins games, but I think he is the worst against the spread, right, over the last 7 or 8 years is Rolovich. I'm going to guess that when you look at the thing, I don't have the list, but we can probably Google this and find this. But I'm going to guess that the top coach in the last 5 years against the point spread is Ryan Day, because he's an ass kicker, right? And probably the worst coach against the spread are these other guys, like Nick Rolovich, who just, kind of goes through the motions. He wins games, doesn't cover spreads. And it's like, what good are you? Why bother? But I like Hawaii. I think Hawaii has a good chance to win this game outright against UCLA. I think that defense against that slop, why not? Hawaii also has serious size. They always do. Rod, what do you think? He seems to be chomping at the bit over here now that he's back in action.
Yeah,
Off his deathbed.
I like Hawaii plus the points. They're bringing back everybody on defense. Chavin isn't that bad, and they added a nice Calvin Turner Jr. as a weapon for him. He's a beast. He returns the ball. He's a good guy. He's a huge piece to that offense that will definitely add some offense prowess to the Rainbows. And you look Chip Kelly, he's awful in non-conference games. 1 in 5 since he joined UCLA in non-conference games. Awful.
He's awful. What's his record without Phil Knight money? I mean, he's terrible. He's terrible, man. Yeah. Terrible.
So, I'll take Hawaii plus the points. And the other one, I'll take Illinois plus the points. You look at Frost. He got beat last year in Nebraska by the same team. And Illinois is...
He's going to get run. He's going to get fired.
Oh, yeah. It probably won't take him long. We're going to get dirt if he loses this one. Illinois is bringing back a whole lot of players that were in that game that won in Lincoln last year. So give me Illinois plus the points
at home.
In that one.
Home dog.
Yep.
Brett Bielema, not a great coach, not one of my guys. I mean, when he got fired on the field at Arkansas, I kind of thought he deserved it. It's like he didn't make it to the locker room. He got fired before he got there, and it's I know a lot of people that had bet on Arkansas that year that felt the same way. That they wish that they could have been the one that fired him on the field. But it's like, so Romanelli, we have some, ridiculously high totals here. Today we have a 67.5, a 63, a 59. Are 3 of the totals in these games, and we have 3. We have. Let's see, we have 3 favorites of double digits, and then we have a road favorite who was terrible last year. I mean, they played okay in spots, and I think like the Northwestern game where they threw the interception into the end zone, they had a couple. It was a matter of a couple plays. They played Ohio State tough the first half in Columbus, but that was with McCaffrey at quarterback. When you're an offensive genius like Scott Frost was at UCF, right? He was the genius. Right? He was a wide open 70 points a game. You come to Nebraska and your quarterback and your number 1 receiver both transfer out. Like after you've been there a couple years. Not like it was a coaching change and then they transferred. We're talking about a guy that's been there and they transfer out. So McCaffrey goes to Louisville and Bell is his name, the receiver, he goes to Kentucky. The top guy. And you're left with the Martinez show once again here, who is, good athlete and all of that kind of stuff, but he hasn't shown that he can be a quarterback at this level and, produce wins consistently. He gets injured a lot, right? He fumbles a lot, and all those things, all those bad things if you're a quarterback. It's bad things. What do you think here, Ron? Today's 4-game sexy week 0 card.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to take Illinois. Adrian Martinez, he's a nice two-way threat, but to me, I think this game's going to start out sluggish. I think it's going to be a tight game through the game. I think you could see Illinois win this one outright. But I think Illinois is going to rely on their ground game. They actually ran for over 250 yards and 4 touchdowns last year against Nebraska. So, Illinois is definitely going to rely on their running back trio. They have a three-headed monster at running back with Chase Brown leading the way. I think that it's going to be a close game. I think, like I said, Illinois has a shot to win it, but I'll just take the points to be safe. I think it's going to be a field goal game either way. So I'll take my points.
Belima was the guy that got some serious running backs there at Wisconsin. I mean, all those ones that you see in the NFL, those are his guys. And he was super successful in the Big Ten. The SEC didn't really fit his style. He did have good running backs there. He's still has Arkansas running backs there in the NFL from his era there too, which is pretty amazing because that team was so bad. But we just can't emphasize how bad his Arkansas teams were. I mean, they were just pathetic.
No.
They couldn't win. They couldn't cover. They couldn't do anything. It's like, oh man, it's kind of like the Miami teams that I grew up, watching in the Orange Bowl. E.J. Baker and Kerry Baker were quarterbacks. Oh my God. I remember Oklahoma beating us by 70 at home. It was like, oh, man. We used to play Oklahoma, Penn State. It was like they're independent. They played all the big names, like every single like a team like that. Everybody, Florida State, everybody wanted to play Miami back then. Trip to South Florida in the winter, game. And then all of a sudden they got good. Everyone dropped them from the schedule. Like, I'm not going through that. Barry Switzer. It's like not going to happen anymore. Anyways, I'm with you guys. I think Illinois here is the play for me. Like I said, it's week 0. These aren't games I would be playing on a regular Saturday. If I had a larger card, it's not like, wow, I really have a strong angle here. I'm a watcher, right? Everyone has their own strategy. Brian likes to look at what other people bet and copy what they do. Rod jumps on the bandwagon. Ron is kind of more like a statistic and data guy, and I'm more a game watcher, right? So you have 4 different styles here. And, I don't have anything to watch here, right? I don't have anything to go off of. So I might be better off at halftime for these, on these games. So I'm not planning on doing a halftime show, but it's not, it could happen. I should be in the studio, while some of these games are going on. But if I see something, I will come on here and say something. If I don't see anything, then you won't hear anything from me. But, it is college football, if you want to call it that. But next week, much better schedule. Got Ohio State, Minnesota on Thursday. Got Miami, Alabama. I'm not looking forward to it, but I will be watching it. Got North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Should be a nice little football game on Friday. Northwestern against Michigan State. We'll see. We're going to see some things, Michigan, Western Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin. It's nice that the Big Ten is kind of opening up against each other. Kansas State, Stanford is an interesting game. There's a coach that covers a ton of point spreads, too. Kansas State. The guy that replaced Bill Snyder this time, this guy covers a ton. Him, Ryan Day, I'm going to guess are right at the top of the list. No one Googled it? I guess we're going to be what coaches cover the most. College football coaches cover the most. ATS. Throw it in there. Oh, these are all old. These articles.
Mm-hmm.
They're super old. 2017.
I couldn't find it.
Well, I guess they're wide open for this type of article. Romanelli, you're on it. It's like I gotta get someone on it because
I'll look it up.
I know it's out there.
Yeah.
I know it's out there. I know who it is. It's Ryan Day. It's the guy from Kansas State. I mean, those are the guys. The guys that never cover is Nick Rolovich. Never. It's just the way Steve Sarkisian never covers. Perfect for Texas. How fired is he going to be in 2 or 3 years? So fired, man. So fired. Did Sarkisian get the X? So fired, man. Anyways, Brian, you selling anything today?
That's my favorite. It's what I do best lately. College football. Last 2 seasons combined, 56% winners. Which, if you take out my crappy bowls from both years, I'm probably hitting around 60. So if you want my college football season pass, get it for $400 at pickdogs.com. That'll get you every single college football pick. Today I've got one. It's my high roller. You can get that for $30 at pickdogs.com, or subscribe to the VIP show and you'll get it also there.
Rod?
For me, it's today I've got a nice mixed sport bookie buster. I've got one MLB, one NFL, and one college football play. Went off a nice 3-in-1 day yesterday. Let's keep it rolling with kickoff to college football day. Love these plays. Also, I have rest of my MLB season for $199. We've been rolling since the All-Star break last month. We're up. Big bettors are up over $6,900. Jump aboard that. $199. Can't go wrong with that. You get every MLB play I give you right till World Series winner.
How many you got today, Rod? I didn't catch that.
3. 1 NFL, 1 MLB, and 1 college.
Nice.
1-1-1.
How about you, Romanelli?
Yep, same thing over here. I got 1-1-1. My Saturday trifecta. Really loving these plays today. Like today's card in all 3 sports. So check it out at Pick Dogs Premium. And as Mitch mentioned, starting to do videos on the Sports Champ Place YouTube channel. So check those out and covering college football and the NFL. Had a good day. I actually went 4-0 yesterday on the NFL free picks. So check those out. Sports Champ Place YouTube.
All right.
Junior Sharp.
Go. I got 3 MLB picks, but I did okay in NFL preseason, but you have college football season. Next Thursday is when it all really starts, really gets going, this coming Thursday. So great time to join the VIP and the YouTube Premium. Great time to do it. Like I said, we got new things coming on here, and I believe next Saturday, and maybe even next Saturday we should have a different show here, and I don't know if it'll be Sunday because there won't be NFL, but then the following week it'll be Saturday, Sunday, and then we're also going to add a Friday afternoon football show, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Not really sure of the format of that yet. It's just kind of a whim that I had. Brian inspired me. Go to the NFL schedule today. 6 games on the card with the cancellation in the Big Easy, which I don't know if that helps or hurts the Saints because they really did have some quarterback question marks there. It leaves us 5 games for tomorrow, which is nice, right? It's 5 NFL games for tomorrow. It's been like, after this, it's usually been 1-1 or 2-1, right? 2 on Sunday, or something like that, but now 5 on Sunday. Buffalo Bills against the Green Bay Packers, 9.5-point spread in this thing, opened at 4. We got the Washington football team, the Eskimos, up against the Ravens. Eskimos getting 3.5 at home in this one. The Ravens looking for what, number 20 here? Is it 19 or 20? Looking for number 20 in a row, the oddest of all winning streaks in the history of sports. Then you have the Titans tighten up against the Bears. I don't know how the Bears are favored by 3 points against anybody. Not against a professional team. Rod, what do you think of these 3 games?
Well, out of those 3 games, well, I like Tennessee over the Bears. Well, that's too many points. The Bears have not been great. Tennessee, very deep depth-wise, and looked real good in their first 2 games in the preseason. So I'll take Tennessee plus the 3 in that one. We got a good shot to beat the Bears. The only one that I like out of those 3.
How about you, Ron Romanelli?
Yeah, I'm going to lean the other way with the Bears here. I don't love Chicago, but the Titans are dealing with a lot of COVID issues. They're actually missing 9 players and coaches, including Tannehill and Coach Variable. So I think this is just the type of game Tennessee gets in and gets out. I know they're home team, so it's less of a worry to play here, but I do think the Bears, you got Justin Fields starting in this one. I feel like he has something to prove after Dalton was named the starter, or is the favorite to be the starter in week 1. So I think the Bears show up today, and I think they get the win. So I'll lay the points with Chicago.
Brian?
Yeah, for me, I just saw Gardner Minshew got traded to the Eagles, but anyway, that ruined my train of thought. I think one of the best free picks today is the Washington football team. I kind of wish I would have put him in as a premium play.
What does that
Washington
mean for Joe Flacco?
I guess Flacco's going to be gone.
I'm going to guess so.
But I think Washington has an ultra-talented roster here. And I know the Ravens have won a bunch in a row, but I think this Washington team could easily win this game outright, but I think it's a field goal game anyway. He slides it to take the 3.5 points in Washington to keep this game close.
New York Mets and the betting against the Ravens, betting against the Giants, betting against the Ravens. Brian's really picked some good sides to go against the last.
You act like this Washington football team's a bad team. They're not a bad team.
I picked them to win the division. I picked them to win the division. When did I say they were a bad team?
I know you're making fun of my pick against the Ravens. I don't care.
Well, I'm just saying you bet against the Ravens every week, and you know them, and you take the Mets every day lately.
I didn't take the Mets yesterday. I had the Washington Nationals yesterday.
You took them every game against the Giants.
Yeah,
talked about the house position.
That's what looked like the proper play, and look,
the proper play.
Giants
the proper play is the one that wins.
Well, the Braves won yesterday and beat them. I'm sure they'll beat them again today.
Sure. How sure are you? Just take out the checkbook. I'll take that action.
I just don't like.
No, how sure? You said you're sure they'll beat them today. How sure are you?
I like.
How sure are
Atlanta.
you? I'm right here.
No,
you said you're sure. How sure are you?
Now, if it would have been the Mets game,
see how sure you are.
If it would have been the Mets, you would have got me. But it's not Mets.
I'm super sure.
The Giants
feel real good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't like the Giants.
Real good about it. Feel awesome about it. I'll take the other side of that one all day. I like the Ravens here. I think that you take them on the money line and you just put them in a parlay or something just for the hell of it. They're not going to lose this game. Washington is my pick still to win the NFC East. So, Brian, just because I pick another team in a game or say something about them, it doesn't mean that I don't like the other team. I'm just saying that, well, the reality of it is that the Ravens haven't lost in preseason since 2015, and Washington has quarterback issues. They still have quarterback issues. I think they're still struggling because the Haskins pick is going to haunt them for a while, and they're going to have to get past that. And it's like, they need a quarterback. They don't have one.
They have a quarterback, the Magic. Fitzmagic. He'll do just fine.
He's not shown that he's a viable quarterback through a 16-game schedule. And now the 17-game schedule, I like his chances even less. He hasn't shown that he can win week to week and play consistent football that it takes to be a winner, in the NFL. He hasn't shown the ability to do that. He's had great games. He's had some great comeback games. He's also had games where he's like 3 of 27, with 4 interceptions for negative 8 yards. I mean, you can't do that, and it's like he is a veteran. He knows what he's doing back there, all those things, but he's not bad enough to be a Trent Dilfer, and he's not good enough to be a Tom Brady. So you're kind of just left with a guy, who's just a good backup is really what he is, It's like Trent Dilfer was bad enough that he knew, I'm not going to even try, some of this stupid stuff that the other guys do because I can't do it, right? But with Fitzpatrick, he still throws that pass into double coverage down the field, which he doesn't have the arm to complete, right? So it burns you, He was on my team last year, so I know that, Just it's kind of like the Chad Henne mark that just it's never going to go away, You try. People always say, you got to let things go. You got to get past it. I can't, I just can't. All I see is a wobbly pass thrown at the pylon, you know, when the receiver is running a route down the middle of the end zone. It's all I can see, you know, in Chad Henne. And then he's just, you know, like, is he mad because he just didn't know the play that he called? Is he mad because he was actually aiming for the guy in the middle of the end zone and hit the pylon? Or is he just, you know, what is he mad at? You know, like, I'm mad. I'll tell you that much. He stinks. Chad Henne. Oof. Nothing fun about that. Got the Texans against the Buccaneers. I also like the Titans against the Bears. I probably won't take the Bears all season. I got the Titans against the Bucks. You got the Texans against the Bucks. You got the Rams and the Broncos, 8.5 points in this thing. And the Broncos have been shameless about playing their starters this preseason. Absolutely shameless about it. And then you've got Seattle, 6-point favorites here against the Chargers, who have a backup quarterback battle going on, which Rod Zwaki's clearly entrenched in last time we spoke about the Chargers. So, Brian, what do you think of these three matchups?
I'm not in love with it, but I kind of like the Chargers a little bit. That's a lot of points here. And we saw they didn't fold the 10 up last week, and I think it's way too many points for the Seahawks to cover. I don't care how long they play their starters. So for me, it's the Chargers. It's not. I don't like it as much as Washington, but it's a lead.
Do they get to keep the song in Los Angeles? The Superchargers.
Super San Diego Superchargers.
Ron, who do you like?
I'm going to take a shot with the Houston Texans getting the points here, getting 4 points. Bruce Arians did say that the Buccaneers starters are going to play the first half. But I think we see a similar situation as we did yesterday with the Chiefs-Vikings. We saw the Chiefs with Mahomes go out to this big lead, and they were even up, I think, 18 points in the fourth quarter. Then quickly you saw the lead disappear, and the Vikings caught a cover late. I don't know if it'll be as late as that or as backdoor as that, but I do think the Texans play much better in the second half of this one and catch a cover. You're going to see a lot of the public on the Bucs, as we've seen in the preseason so far. Texans 2-0 against the spread, Buccaneers 0-2 against the spread in the preseason. So I'll take Houston and the points.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Houston and the points in that one as well. Tampa Bay, they're a good fade to start the year. They started off slow last year. I think they start off slow again. Take some time to get things gelling and get it rolling. Super Bowl hangover. So give me the Houston plus the points in that one. And I agree. Give me the Chargers plus the points. Clappy's going to win. He'll win by 3 at the most. So give me the Chargers plus 6. Daniels can't play any worse than what he did last week. And Stick looked real good. So give me the Chargers plus the 6.
Who do you think wins that QB battle? He was pretty Rod was pretty adamant about this.
Pretty adamant. Stick's taking the backup role. He's winning the job.
I like all three dogs in these games. I think the Rams are, to me, the most attractive because they haven't played their starters all preseason, but they've hung in every single game, right? They've kind of been right there. I think 8.5 is a crazy amount of points there to be given the Rams. I like the Chargers here against the Seahawks. If it was regular season, I might not feel the same, but it isn't. And I also like the Titans against the Bears and the Texans against the Bucs. Romanelli, do you see betting the Bears? You see this something in your future this season? You see yourself saying, I really feel like laying one down on the Bears this week.
Other than today, probably not. Especially as long as Dalton's at QB. But
Dalton's named the starter. Justin Fields is the backup. We know Justin Fields, and he looked good against backup players. Kind of like Trey Lance, who definitely looked better than I give him credit for, which is not tough, right? But at the same time, threw 2 balls that really should have been intercepted, that one of them ended up being a touchdown, and it's like, had he been playing against starters, it could have gone 6 the other way, I don't know. I'm ready for preseason to be over.
Me too. Glad it's only 3 weeks.
I'll tell you, if you put it in perspective, though, like, what do you hate more? Preseason NFL football or cardboard cutout fans? You know, it's like
Cardboard cutout fan.
oh, can't stand the cardboard cutout fan. It was like fun
they
for
get
about,
rowdy.
it was fun for about 15
Rowdy.
seconds, like when they put like Geddy Lee in there, you know, and stuff. It was fun like for that, but it's like I can't stand the cardboard cutout fans or canned fan noise that they show on TV. There's actually they don't even play it in the stadium. It's just on TV. That canned fan noise that they were using.
Oh, that's awful.
Terrible.
Awful.
Terrible.
Best part about the cardboard cutout was when Mookie Betts took Buddy's head off. Yeah!
Hate the cardboard cutout. It was like an idea that kind of like ran its course, right? It was just like, oh man, hopefully we're not headed back to the cardboard cutout.
Oh, man.
I do have a question for you all, if we can. That's now with Gardner Minshew's going to the Eagles. Does that bring up a little bit of a QB debate, or is Hurts' job guaranteed at starting quarterback?
Oh, it's guaranteed.
It's Hurts' job. I think
Yeah,
Minish
Hurts'
is a
job.
good backup, but I think
You don't think the Minshew fanboys had to say anything about that?
I think that Minshew will see action because Jalen Hurts is a lower the shoulder quarterback, and he can't extend the field with his arm. So the players are going to be playing close to the line, and it works at the college level, but the NFL you're going to get decapitated. You know, it's like he's not fast enough to be Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. You know, that's the issue here, and
That shows that the Eagles are
he doesn't have
worried
the
about
arm
him.
of either of those guys
We
either.
need Minshew.
Yeah, no.
Quick, get him. What?
Yeah.
Minishew's a mess.
Oh, he is a mess.
I don't trust either guys.
No.
It's a mess.
They needed to get Jake Luton. That's the guy.
Sometimes there's trades like this, and the guy that ends up not making the team.
Daniels is available. He's at the Chargers. You can pick him up. He's got
Flacco looked good yesterday.
Obviously not good enough.
Nope.
We go to the Diamond here, and I don't know. We saw some pretty good games last night. The Cubs jumped out to a 6-0 lead on the White Sox. I'm sure Brian was jumping up and down, acting like the
I had the
fanboy.
White Sox yesterday, -1.5.
I'm sure you were all over the Cubs, and got the Indians and the Red Sox. The Indians had it yesterday. They let it slip out of their hands. Nice. The first game is 4:05 Eastern time. This is nice. So we're gonna have the VIP at the regular time today. Got the Yankees and the A's, the Mariners and the Royals. What a game that was last night. What a game. What was it, 12 or 13 innings? It was way deep.
I
into
was
that game.
pleasantly surprised when I checked the score.
I watched the game. He hit the 2-run home run, and then the Mariners almost blew it anyway. It's like,
I saw the grand slam, but
no, they almost blew the game. The Royals almost blew the game in the bottom of the whatever it was that they won it in. Then you got the Phillies, the Kyle Gibson experience. Ugh. Any of these four do it for you, Rod? A little Kyle Gibson action. You feel like watching a guy walk in some runs for you? Minus 200.
Yeah, no. I'll take Umberto. Give me Umberto in that one. I think Arizona's.
How was
They're actually playing the better ball at 5-5 last 10. Not bad. Give me Arizona over the Phillies and Kyle Gibson.
so? Derek Miller is saying here in the comments that Urban Meyer is a bust, just like Nick Saban. How was Nick Saban a bust at Miami? I'm telling you, I'm a Dolphin fan. He had things going in the right direction, man. And I'm telling you what, give him another year or two, they would have probably been a Super Bowl team. And he wouldn't have been the first college coach to do that. Jimmy Johnson did it in Dallas. And I'll tell you what, I think most Dolphin fans, when Saban was there, were excited about things that were going on. And they haven't been as excited as that until now with Flores there. But Saban, how was he a bust? I thought, the team, obviously he took over a bad team, but I'm not a Saban guy. I mean, everybody knows that.
well, how's Meyer a bust? It's been
I didn't say it was a
preseason
bust.
games. I didn't say he did. That guy said he was a bust.
He said he's going to be a bust.
Oh, well,
His prediction, which is
we'll
fine.
see.
You can predict all you want. I do it all the time. I don't think Mike
I think the
Tomlin.
Jags are having a
This guy says Mike Tomlinson criminally underrated. Meanwhile, he spells his name wrong. You know, it's kind of like that pretty much is the microcosm of it right there. Mike Tomlinson, criminally underrated. It's Mike Tomlin.
I agree.
He's headed to the
I love our audience, man. I love you guys. Hit the thumbs up. Helps us a ton. I don't sit there and beg for it like a lot of people do. Leave a comment if you want to. Of course, if you don't have time to sit here and watch our shows, we're available on iTunes, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever they call it now, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, just about anywhere that you get podcasts. It's called Picks from the Doghouse. And normally, like our normal thing, I have the logo up there, but I don't have it for this one because we got 4 people. We're gonna change this stuff. This is all gonna go. Anyways, where are we?
And the other one I like in this spot is I like the Royals. Give me the Royals again with Daniel Lynch going. The team's been solid. They're 5-1 in his last 6 starts. Are the Royals, including 4-0 his last 4 starts. So give me the Royals. I think they get another win here over the Mariners.
Was Hernandez? Hernandez got switched out. Yep.
Yeah, it's Lynch.
It's Lynch.
Yep, I agree with Mr. Zawacki. I'll take the Royals as well. Lynch has been pitching better as of late. Tyler Anderson is just a guy that doesn't miss a lot of bats, doesn't get too many strikeouts, and now he's starting to give up a little bit of the home run ball. And when you're a pitch-to-contact guy, you really can't give up the home run. He's given up 1 in his last 2 starts and 3 of his last 5. So I'll take the Royals on the money line, getting the plus money.
I think in Anderson's defense, two factors here. Number one, young pitcher going deep into the season, and that just is part of the game. And, you know, I've talked about this on many times over, and I know people tune out when I talk sometimes, but Anderson, none of the pitchers this year pitched. They only played 60-game schedules last year. So nobody had a lot of starts last year at all. But Anderson is a guy that's really has never had a lot of career starts. So he's him and Logan Gilbert, 2 guys that have just worn out. They're out of gas. And then you also have the trade that he went from Pittsburgh to Seattle, and now you have National League to American League, which is not good if you're a pitcher. It's like now you face an extra batter, and that batter is Nelson Cruz instead of facing Marcus Stroman.
Well, I'd say the Anderson's a seasoned veteran. I think he's like 30 or 31. He's been around for a little while.
He started 32 games. The last time he started more games than this season was 2018. He started 32 games, and then before that, 19 games, 17 games. So 32 games in Colorado, 5 games, 13 games, and then this year this is his 24th start of the season. So this is the most starts he's had, the second most starts he's had in his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely hasn't been that much worked, but I mean, he's been around for a little while. He's not just like Gilbert, who's just got brought into the league. I mean, he's already had 100 starts in his career and stuff, so I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt.
That's what it sounds like. Romanelli's being a little bit of a hard ass here on Tyler Anderson. He's got a hard on for him. It's 28.
I thought he was like 30.
32.
Oh, 32?
Oh, Jesus.
1989.
Yep.
December 30th, 1989. He'll be expecting a gift from you. Brian, who do you like in this slot?
Well, I'll make it a threesome because I love the Kansas City Royals today. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It probably should have been a premium play for me today. I think Lynch can pitch respectably today for the Royals. I think it'll be a game that's won late again. So I'll take the plus money in KC to keep it rolling. And the Oakland A's, the Yankees look pretty damn square to me. Getting slight plus money here with the Yankees, who are freaking on fire. They're calling all the fanboys out on this one. I'll take the Oakland A's to get a W.
I think that taking Arizona plus the odds here is probably not a bad way to go. Kyle Gibson just walks way too many guys, man. He's become a walk machine. That last game in Texas, he started walking guys and he hasn't stopped. Just keeps walking them.
That was that last start with the Rangers.
Yeah.
It was like to open the floodgates of walks.
Against Framber Valdez.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they both.
Oh, yeah, they both walked a ton. Framber was sweating up he had a real lather going. It's like he couldn't even hold on to the ball. It was like 120 degrees. It's like Zwacky shows up to the mound and is like sleeveless. It's like not a great look for you, but I understand. Got Tigers versus the Blue Jays. Brian Urena is back on the hill. He's back. He's got that 6+.
Yeah, he's not a guy that I love.
Urena guy from way back.
No.
You follow him from town to town. You're a groupie.
Their Tiger starters are like more than him. That's for sure.
No, you're a Urena guy. Rod, we do this show every day. Would you call Brian a Urena guy or not a Urena guy?
He's putting words in my mouth.
He's got it. He's muted, but he's muted.
We're definitely putting words in your mouth, and you're definitely a Urena.
Big time Urena guy. Big time. Big time. It's like big time. Do you think Salvador Perez is a future Hall of Famer? Second most All-Star appearances in Royals history. I think he is a Hall of Famer, Salvi Perez. I do think he is. I think he's definitely in the Royals Hall of Fame. But I would say he's probably he's close. The criteria seems to change, all the time. It just seems to change person to person,
If he hit like this his whole career, he'd be guaranteed. But
well, they won the World Series and they dismantled that team, and he was the guy they kept.
Yeah.
So it's like Paul Konerko in the White Sox. It was kind of like he's the guy they held on to. It's tough. If he was on the Yankees, he would be.
Feels like the Hall of Fame's getting tighter and tighter. I'm not sure if he'd make it.
I would like to take the writers out of the equation there. Maybe I can get a vote. It's the Baseball Writers Association of America. Because the College Football Writers Association, they threw me out. But I think I might be able to get back in. I still have the information. We're still friends. Still have the information. We're still friends on LinkedIn, most of the guys. So you won't be voting for the All-American team this year? No, you won't be. Damn it. You won't be voting for the Outland? No. Yeah. It was a short-lived membership, but I'll tell you what, it was a tearful goodbye. You can't do this anymore. I don't know. I thought Edgerrin James was first-team All-American in my book. I did.
You're still in that Edgerrin James thing.
It threw me out of the College Football
Gotta
Writers
let it
Association
go.
of America. Tigers versus Blue Jays. So that's the only one you gave here, Brian? Is Urena?
I didn't even give anything on that one. You're the guy. You guys said that I like that.
Okay, go ahead. You tell us you like that.
You're throwing me right under the bus.
I'll put some words in your mouth. I love Urena here in the Tigers against Manoa.
What games are we doing? You didn't even get all the games. The only game I heard so far was the Blue Jays and Tigers.
As far as I got. It's the feature game. Got Alcantara against Vladdy Gutierrez, another Brian guy. He hates Gutierrez. Got Colby Allard against the aforementioned Framber Valdez. And that one's the Globe Life also. Oh, man. He's like, please have the roof closed. And then you got John Means against Michael Wacha in Baltimore, line mover.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Brian, who do you like of these four besides Jose Urena?
Well, for me, you might want to bet the other side of this game because I'm horrible on square picks, but I'm going to take the Blue Jays minus the 1.5 from Manoa on the mound. He got back to his usual solid self in his last start. I think he keeps it up. Jay's got to win this game, so I don't have any trouble laying that 1.5. And then I'll take the Baltimore Orioles against Michael Wacha and the Rays, but I'll take the plus 1.5 with Baltimore. I think it's the one. I think all the run line bettors get burnt here, so I'll take the 1.5 with Means.
So anyways, the guy that called Mike Tomlinson is saying now that it's early where he is. So that's why this is excuse. But I'm sure it's not earlier than it is here. I can guarantee that. But then you've never watched the show because I always say Mike Tomlin is the best coach in the NFL. Right? I've heard this. One of the top. I always have him in my top guys every year. I always say he's the guy that if he was fired for some reason, he would be out of work for about 15 seconds. Ron Romanelli, Framber?
No, thank you.
No,
but I'll take a shot with the Miami Marlins at home. Sandy Alcantara pitched well against the Reds last start, 11 strikeouts at Great American. Now he's back home, much less of a hitter's park. I think the Marlins keep this game close, and then they get into that Reds bullpen and find a win late. So I'll take a shot with Miami. That Rays-Orioles game is definitely a strange one. I don't think I have the stomach to take the Orioles, though. I'll lean towards the over in that one. I think the Orioles do a lot of damage on Waka, and then the Rays get some back on Means, who's been giving up a lot of home runs as of late. So the Rays don't hit lefties that well, but they do hit Means. I mean, everybody does at this point. So I'll take the over.
Rod?
I'm going to go opposite there. I'm going to take the Reds. Reds 6-0 in their last 6 versus the NL East. They're also 5-0 in their last 5 versus a team with a losing record. So I think these are games they need to win. So I'm going to take the Reds over the Marlins.
I like the
and the over in. I agree with the over in the Rays in Baltimore. We see a whole pile of runs in that one.
I love the Rays lay whatever against Baltimore, and I like the under in the Reds-Marlins game, Alcantara and Gutierrez. Gutierrez is actually really good on the road. And as Fonzie says, hit the thumbs up, smash that like button. It's
been lights out on the road.
Yeah, Fonzie has been lights out on the road.
F. Gutierrez.
He's lights out on the road.
He's lights out on the road. Anyways, hit the thumbs up. That's what Fonzie says. It's so weird, this thing, man. It's like this 1970s action figure. Look at this. His pants button in the back. How the hell do you do that? You can't do that.
Maybe they're on backwards. Maybe you need to flip them around.
I'm not taking Fonzie's pants off.
Pants off.
You come visit me in Hawaii, I'll tell you what. You can take the Fonzie's pants off. I'll let you have that one.
Imagine having your pants on wrong for 50 years.
It is like 50 years old, that thing. We go to the next slate, the next card. Got the Cardinals and the Pirates. Man, was that disappointing. Thrown out at the plate for the Pirates in the bottom of the 8th. That was gruesome. White Sox, they spotted the Cubs 6 runs, put 17 on the board, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They allowed 13 runs.
Yeah.
Marcus Stroman, I just feel so bad for this guy. You have to at this point because so he's a number 2-3 starter, right, in the rotation. He's got a sub-3 ERA and he's got a hideous record, and all that means is that you've got no support. If you're the number 1 and you have like a 2.8 ERA and you're 5-5 or something, well, you played against number 1 pitchers, right? So your team, you have an excuse. But if you're Stroman and you're deeper in the rotation and you have that kind of ERA and you have that record, well, that just means your team has done nothing to support you whatsoever. Nothing. Absolutely zero. That's pathetic, man. I want them to win for Stroman, but I really, I'm disgusted by them. I know Brian's a big fan.
I had the Nationals yesterday.
Wow, one out of 18 in their last 19 Mets.
Well,
games.
they weren't playing the Giants, so and the easiest play on the boards today are coming up.
Ron, any of these games you like?
And nothing crazy in this window. I would lean towards the Mets and the run line. I really don't like laying run lines with home teams, and especially when those teams are named the Mets. But I think Stroman pitches well today. I think the Mets do find some offensive life. Probably would have thought that was the case yesterday, and they couldn't find any. But I do think that the Mets would be a solid play to throw in your parlays for money line. I do think they get to the Nationals bullpen and Sean Nolan today. So just a small lean on Mets run line. Not my favorite play.
So in the Pirates Cardinals game, the total has gone from 8 to 8.5, and you got Wainwright against Brault. And Brault's got a sub-2 ERA coming into this thing. Wainwright's been, he pitched I believe, complete game shutout last time out. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's strange. I mean, let me look at the weather. Weather looks like it's blowing out, but I don't think it's enough for half a run. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Me either.
Rod, what do you think? What do you think of that total? What do you think of all this other stuff going on? What do you think? What do you think happens to the Mets roster if Sean Nolan comes in there and mows them down today?
Right. No.
They fire Rojas on the field like they believe in him.
I think they should have a couple games ago, but
I seen a headline that Syndergaard just did a rehab start, so he might be popping back in this season at some point for the Mets. Maybe that'll give him a little life.
It's a little late.
What about DeGrom? Is he done?
Little late. I don't.
DeGrom, I think, is done.
I think it's done. Yeah. Well, because they don't want to bring DeGrom out for useless games, right? They don't want to bring him back and.
But if you put him out there with Syndergaard, that's
in useless games. Right? In meaningless games, you want to bring your ace back for meaningless games and get him injured even more. Yeah, probably not.
Like, I don't want to work with these clowns.
Well, yeah, that too, right?
What if he demands a trade? If I'm Stroman, I do.
It's funny because they asked Syndergaard if he wanted out, and he was like, "Nope, I want to stay a Met." So he wants to stay a Met.
Yeah, sometimes they buy a house or something, They don't want to sell it. What do you think of these games, though?
I like the under Nationals and the Mets. I think we know how much Mets offense has been lately, and I think Nola comes out and has a good start. Surprisingly, I think he comes out and pulls down the Mets a little, and we get the under. Give me the under at 8.5 in that one, and we get a lower scoring game.
Got the Twins and the Brewers, the Giants and the Braves, the Padres and the Angels.
You skipped me.
Go ahead.
Hurt my feelings. You skipped me. I didn't get to go.
Go, give one out. Give out a pick. I'll tell you what it's going to be. I'll look at the board.
Oh, wait. I'm
Pirates.
sorry.
The Twins. He's wearing the hat.
Pirates. No, the Twins weren't in that group.
Did we get to the White Sox and Cubs? We did, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I got skipped in this one. I'm going to take the Chicago White Sox again today, even though I don't like them. Minus 3.5 for me today on the White Sox with Lance Lynn. He's just miles above Alec Mills, and I don't see any reason why they don't beat him by 6-7 runs today. So for me, it's the White Sox. Lay that huge run line, the super duper run line. And then I'd love to be on the Minnesota Twins just to fade the public here. But Charlie Barnes, he's pretty brutal. I can't even get on this guy. But usually Saturday's the day where the public gets taken out to slaughter. But I'll stay away from this one.
I'll tell you, some of our competition's putting out some stuff that's pretty brutal, man. Surfing around YouTube recently. Man, there's some garbage out there. Anyways, painful. Brewers, Twins, Padres, Angels, Giants, Braves, and Dodgers, Rockies. I like Giants. I like the Brewers and the Rockies. Rod?
For me, those couple, I like the over in the Padres and the Angels. When we get a whole pile of runs, Ryan Weathers is awful.
Terrible.
Just terrible guy.
Terrible.
I like the over in that one, and I like the under in the Giants and the Braves. I think Logan Webb and the whole thing's down. I think we get a nice under 8.5 in that one. A little bit of a pitcher's duel. Give me the under, Giants, Atlanta, and the over, Padres, Angels.
Romanelli?
Yeah, I agree with the over in that Padres Angels game. I think we see Both pitchers exit the game early. I mean, Weathers doesn't pitch deep into games anyway, but I do think both offenses have a nice game today. And then I'll take a shot with the Rockies on the money line. And they got the win yesterday, but John Gray, solid pitcher. He keeps the Rockies in games usually, and not at Coors Field here, so I don't have to worry about the Dodgers bats going off. But David Price, does he deserve it? Minus 240 price on the money line. No pun intended, David Price, but I don't think so. I'll take the Rockies. It's a D-Gen play of the day.
There it is.
This price deserved the price.
Brian?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Suarez and the Angels here. I think you're getting Weathers has just been a train wreck. A young pitcher, way too many innings. He's lucky to go 3-4 innings here for the Padres, and I think the Angels get a W. Padres playing horrible baseball. They got a W yesterday, but I think the Angels take them out today, and you get a nice price with them at home. Suarez.
I like that over. Padres, Angels, too. All right, it's parlay time. I'll go first. No, Rod, go first.
All right. I'm going to take the Reds on the money line. We're going to take a couple NFL. After that, we're going to take Houston plus the points and the Chargers plus the points. Parlay those three up.
Nelly.
I'm going to take the Houston Texans getting the points, the Illinois Fighting Illini getting the points, and the over in the Padres Angels.
Right?
For me, I'm going to take the Washington football team plus the points, UCLA Bruins minus the big points there, and then finish it off with the Oakland A's on the money line.
Illinois, Hawaii, and the Tennessee Titans all with the points. Plus, I'm going to do the same one money line with those three teams as well. So those are my parlays for today. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day. Got it in about an hour. Pretty good. And hopefully I think next week's shows will probably be hour and a half. They're going to be longer, for the regular college football and NFL. It's just that's the nature of the beast, especially if we're going to cover baseball, which last year we skipped those. So we might just do we might do a baseball show earlier or something. I'll get Ruflo to do a baseball show or something. We'll figure it out. Anyways, thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day. Let's make it a winning day. Of course, I'm going to try and act more professional tomorrow.